What's something you actually enjoy talking about? So much this. I absolutely love watching movies and TV shows, but almost more I love talking about movies and shows I've seen with two others. Doesn't even matter if they've seen it or not, talking about the story, the characters, about things I liked, disliked about it, or even the possible story of the sequel. Can't do online though because some people are straight up snobs, and it ruins the fun. Lots of people that want every movie to be unique and different, instead of enjoyable, so I usually stick to friends. Though most of them don't watch movies anymore and therefore have no interest in chatting about it. Actually, a movie just released on Amazon Prime that a friend of mine wants to talk to me about, but I can't because I still need to see it and my brand new TV decided to kill itself, so I gotta wait. This sucks. I suggest watching City of God if you haven't. It's on the IMDb Top 100 I believe. It's an amazing movie that's based loosely on real events, and it has such an interesting interwoven plot. One of the best movies I think I've ever seen. Mathematically, some appreciable portion must be true. Also, look up disclosed FBI files. You'd be surprised to find out what's actually not a theory. Ice bullet filled with poison to simulate a heart attack. Yep. I'm pretty much the same. I once had a blues band, played in a 5-piece jam band, and currently play in a Grateful Dead tribute band. I grew up with my dad being a DJ on the weekends, weddings, car shows, school dances, etc., who progressed through vinyl to cassettes to CDs and got ultra at the start of the digital revolution. I wish I could play music full-time instead of working a job I don't love for a boss that I despise while playing music on the weekends. Food, especially food from other cultures or countries. I had a friend who went to London for a week. I'm in the US. When she returned, everyone was all excited to hear about what she did and where she went. I asked what her favorite meal was. Did she have high tea? Did you try a true English breakfast? Did you bring back any food? She actually took a picture of her high tea, just for me. God, I love food too, though I need to expand my palate and maybe try more cultures' cuisines and eat a bit healthier lol. One of the best things was eating fresh mangoes from my aunt's neighbor's tree that spilled on her side of the fence and we stole them with a pool net lol. I mean it was on her side, but damn they were good. I also love pupusas, especially my abuela's pupusas, they're awesome. I also love making Salvadoran quesadilla, almost like a sort of bread cake thing. I'd how to explain it but it's delicious, especially for Thanksgiving. I also just fucking love BBQ. Gets so good. One time I visited South Carolina and it was so damn good there. I also visited New Orleans one time and tried bagnets, jambalaya, and gumbo and my god it was delicious. And I don't really like much seafood but god it was good and the bagnets were heavenly. It's horrible what Ida did to New Orleans and the rest of Louisiana though. Georgia chicken and waffles are also amazing. God I love them so much. My favorite food by far though is tacos. I could eat some damn good tacos any day. And I also just love spicy food that makes my mouth go on fire. But God I love food. BTW, what types of cultures and cuisines and dishes do you recommend? Same here. Seems almost no one wants to talk about it as there's more to life than money while working 60 hours a week. As someone that likes efficiency, basic maths and the idea of buying my freedom, I can't understand their reasoning. Refer to username Smile. I literally created this account just to put my decades of Titanic research to use. And because I don't get a lot of time to be a nerd these days, the subject comes up on Reddit quite a bit and I love talking about it. Smile. I've been a big Genesis fan ever since the release of their 1980 album, Duke. Before that, I really didn't understand any of their work. Too artsy, too intellectual. It was on Duke where Phil Collins' presence became more apparent. I think Invisible Touch was the group's undisputed masterpiece. It's an epic meditation on intangibility. At the same time, it deepens and enriches the meaning of the preceding 3 albums. Listen to the brilliant ensemble playing of Banks, Collins and Rutherford. You can practically hear every nuance of every instrument. Takes me right back to college every time. However, their 1983 self-titled album is my fave because it is the first one I owned. Come to think of it, Peter G's departure was one of the best things to happen to pop music in the 80s. They both did great work on their own, and we also got PC's solo work out if it anything actually filling. Even if sex isn't on the table, the potential for stomach gas, uncomfortable movements, or hell, just that distracting feeling of fullness can distract from making a good impression and getting to know someone. I love discussing literary analysis, especially looking into themes from media alongside books, like video games and art pieces and movies. If you're looking for someone on YouTube who does that kind of thing, Jacob Geller is your man. The Legend of Zelda series, one of my favorite video game series, but I sadly don't know anyone that would be interested in talking about it for more than a couple of minutes. One day I hope to make a little group to share theories and fine art with. It would be so cool. Cybersecurity or just technology in general. I enjoy explaining concepts to people who may not be familiar with them. I just find it fun to geek out about. Bonus points if it's with someone who is also into it as well. I just like bouncing ideas around and like having someone around to geek out about it with. Well-concepted engineering and the amazing processes in our daily life that are either not that well known or just easy to overlook, like how a modern CPU can perform billions of operations per second. And let me add to that, that's only how far we've gotten so far. Animals. Both my parents don't care, aren't interested in my pets, dog, hamster and guinea pigs, so I can't really have a good conversation with them about it. I'm really close with my neighbor that loves animals as well, and we can talk for hours about that. I love it. I agree. I hate political talk but also understand it can sometimes be necessary. My view on talking politics is that you're either going to A, agree and there's not much more to talk about, or B, you disagree and you're not going to enter a debate and convince the other person to change their mind. I don't call myself a Verstappen fan, but yeah, juice I am. I do like the championship battle. I do sim racing and circuit racing myself. To me it's a bit of a racing incident. But saying that Hamilton should never be there. He is an experienced driver and he was on his vortex of danger. Blind spot, https://yajacatracing.com/2021/04/07/ the vortex of danger is your fault / but the race directors blamed Hamilton, and thereafter only giving him a 10 seconds penalty. He still won the race, so he would do it again for sure. Looks a bit like Schumacher back in the day. I'm not pissed about the incident itself. They both raced really hard and that's a bit part of the game. I'm pissed about how it's handled by the FIA thereafter. Hopefully they let E go through life the entire season. Fitness and nutrition. I mean the deep geeky science of how muscle grows. What's the perfect rep range for different goals, how to prioritize workouts to maximize positive adaptation and so on. What's actually healthy? Is a calorie a calorie? How hormones play into how full or hungry we are. When is the best time to eat with regards to insulin sensitivity, and what's the best way to fuel oneself? Can talk about this for hours. My hyperfixations and interest, especially to someone who'll actually listen and reply more with yeah or cool and not actually interested in it, and that I feel like I'm boring them. Conspiracy theories are fun to talk about. Not every single one is crazy. You need to wear a tinfoil hat. Animals as well, especially cats, as I had 6 of them, now 4. Rip Oreo and Oscar. Also I know crazy cat lady. Jokingly, but in all honesty I love them all so much with my heart. I'm 20 and don't want kids, and I'm still young too, so they're like my kids. I love talking about them to people whether they're my own pets or not, but especially my hyperfixations, which include artists that I love. Water. I work in the drinking water industry and I love talking about it, how it's treated, how it's pumped, where it comes from, what makes it good and bad, where it goes when it goes down the drain. All of it. I love water. Football. When people can actually have a great conversation about the sport and whatever league and not have it turn into some weird immature my club versus your club thing. Don't get me wrong, I love light-hearted banter, but you probably know the type I mean. I love football fans who manage to evade being racist and misogynistic for more than 10 minutes at a time. Now, I could talk about movies for a while, artistically driven and blockbuster alike. I like to learn about the directors, actors, screenplay, script writing, and effects. Seeing how everything comes together to make stylized movies is something I can talk about and love to research with anyone willing to let me chew their ear off. Same goes for music too. New things, cool inventions, the science behind why things work the way they do, people and the way they are, who they are and why they are what they are, where we came from, the arguments for and against religion, debates of all topics, movies, mysteries. What entertains me is so tinfoil theories, art, history, discussions of a random nature, talking with and about similar life experiences in order to heal from the trauma. The best part about that is talking with people who are equally as open-minded, willing to learn, and who may be exceptionally informed on something you know nothing about. Medicine. All things medical fascinate me. In the same vein, I enjoy educating people about lupus and narcolepsy since I've got both. Ethics. I'm fascinated by bioethics in particular but love discussing all ethics and ethical theories. I align with utilitarianism and moral relativism specifically but love differing views. All things cats. I'm a proud crazy cat lady who is obsessed with her cats. No shame. Crazy hairdo aliens. As mathematically impossible as it is for life to exist, life exists here, so as incomprehensible big the galaxy in the universe is, life shouldn't be improbable, it should be all over the place. Given our current understanding of physics, I find it unlikely we've been visited or are being visited, but life is out there. But again, that's just our understanding. Kids and child development and behavioral correction. I worked in daycare for 6 years and have my early childhood course, and it just fascinates me. Such a big topic and conversation could last hours, depending on the other person. I don't even have kids of my own. Cats. I love cats and love learning new facts about them or new breeds. If anyone starts talking to me about cats, they should be prepared to talk for a long time. I have 6 of my own little fur babies and I love watching their different behaviors. A colleague of mine also has 6 cats and it was an instant latch of common interest. We often talk about our kitties and their habits. One Piece. I have been watching the anime and reading the manga religiously for the past 8 years, and it is something that I still enjoy talking about. Nowadays, due to the pandemic, it is the only thing that I look forward to, as everything else in life feels so depressing. Some people would say that I'm obsessed, but it is one of the few things that genuinely makes me happy, so I don't care. I even made a lot of new nakama along the way. We have multiple WhatsApp, Discord groups to talk about every manga chapter or episode that gets released. It has become such a routine that I do not know what I am going to do when the manga ends. Pretty much anything other than cars, guns, celebrity drama, especially if it's reality TV, and history. I'll talk about makeup, and I love learning about household maintenance. I have played video games every single day of my life, and I play guitar, piano and sing. I am a little outdoorsy, but just not so much during the summer. I do a lot, and I know a lot of random stuff. The grim dark universe of Warhammer 40k. I did my final speech, slideshow presentation for my public speaking class on the Horus Heresy. Buddy of mine recently got into the books and we've had a bunch of conversations revolving around the various bits of lore, new and old. Hypotheticals. Questions asked in this form of what if _ For example, if a vandal took a hatchet to a construction site and cut a chunk out of a supporting column, and the next day the construction manager ignores it and builds the building with that column, but then the building collapses, who should be persecuted, the vandal or the worker? Fishing. Yeah, it's not quite as profound or deep as some of the other answers here, but it is a bottomless mental rabbit hole for me, and I rather enjoy the cat and mouse game of getting in my kayak and taking all the variables into account to try and figure out where a certain species of fish might be and what they might be doing at the moment. My job: I'm an ultrasound tech. I know it may be mind-numbing to some, especially since I don't scan pregnant women, which is what most people think of when they think ultrasound, but dude, I get to see inside people every single day and help make sure patients get the best diagnosis possible to treat whatever ails them. Still awesome after 14 years. The past generations are just history itself. I asked my grandma a lot of questions about what they were like as kids or how different it was for them. I also love looking at old pictures, which my grandma has tons of. Sometimes I could just sense her hiding it from me cause she know it's gonna be an hour-long talk when I see those pictures, lol. The music genre: if heavy metal. I enjoyed it in high school and took a course on it as an elective in college, covering from influences in classical music all the way up to what's being released today. I'm fascinated by how the genre has evolved, tech advancements, politics, and pushing the limits to musicianship. My girlfriend says I get really excited when I talk about the genre. Survivor strategy. I'm in a community where people all over the world play games of Survivor online, and it's fun talking about the strategies everyone employs and bashing them for making dumb moves. It's a very nuanced, complicated game that's impossible to master because each cast is different, but it's fun to see who can out-big-brain everyone else. Nothing, as in nothingness, nihilism, or rather, absurdism. Nothing matters and nothing makes sense, so live your life to the fullest, make yourself happy, make other people happy, be silly in public, so on and so forth. There's a bit more to it than that, or maybe there isn't. Is God real? Does it matter if it is or isn't? Does objectivity exist? And does it matter if it doesn't? Basically, step anywhere near meaninglessness and I'll gladly talk about nothing for hours on end. I fucking love nothing. Space and space-related stuff: rockets, rocket engines, propellants, aerodynamics, orbital mechanics, geology, physics, chemistry, robotics, fluid dynamics, machining. I am not at all a professional in any of these subjects, but I do have a fairly basic understanding of all of them, enough to know how mind-boggling the professional stuff really is. And it is very safe to say all the love for these topics came from Kerbal Space Program and the many YouTubers that covered it. Were to think a video game could spark such a love of science in me. About my fictional characters: I call them my children even though some of them are 28 plus. I enjoy telling others about their hobbies, child traumas, cute moments and even some kinks they have. I talk and think about them so much that they are the real people in my head. I mean, I have no disorder that can make me think this way. What I mean is that they are really dear to me. They were with me at really hard moments of my life that started at July of 2020 and continues till the present day. They've changed a lot since then as I have, so I feel something special for them. I think that I try to support myself through my characters, cause they are basically represent me and traits of my character at some way. So when I want to cry on my big boy's shoulder, his name is Ailes, and be in a supportive silence with him, I try to support myself. Sex. I grew up since I was a teenager with my 3 best friends and they are men, so I got used to talking about things like sex very openly. People always feel ashamed about it and I don't understand why it is still a taboo. Usually including male and female friends. At the age of 30, I am amazed to see how they look at me strangely when I express my ideas. Even some of my partners have told me that they are not used to hearing women express clearly what they want in bed. Sports. I try to avoid like angry yelling at people like the guys on First Take, but I'll legitimately enjoy talking about, and listening to others' perspective on, sports. In fact, I enjoy these discussions so much that I am part of a still very small but rapidly growing podcast about the NBA.